Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Sexual Health Education. I'm your host, Meka Padhi. Are you aware when someone say no, what does it mean? How do you know when someone agreed to have sexual intercourse with you? What does exactly it mean? But before you agree to engage in sexual activity, I'm sure there are things that you need to understand. Number one, you need to understand why you're doing it. Number two, you need to understand how are you going to do it. And number three, with what are you going to do it? Which time of the day are you going to do it? And lastly, you need to understand the consequences. What will happen to you after you engage in sexual activity? Because the issue of sexual consent and sexuality is a tricky one. Why? Because there are quite a lot of misconception, negative misconception around it, and especially in our culture. Some of our culture, they believe when a person is quiet, it means you say yes, it means you have agreed. There is also another misconception around the issue of dressing code. Who provokes who? But you don't need to worry. You don't need to struggle. This is what this video about. The video is going to clear all those myths. Now, to make it clear, now imagine, let me give you an example. Imagine you are about to cook dinner and you are late and you just realize that you ran out of matches. So you decided to approach your neighbor to ask for the matches. You come at the gate and then you shout or you knock. And you are not entering before your neighbor say come in or respond to you or agree to come and fetch you. So let's say your neighbor heard you and then he come at the door. So, or he invites you to come in the house. When you go in there, you sit down. You don't just ask for the matches. You set the tone. You break the ice. First you greet and you discuss other things, maybe the weather, the church activity, politics, whatever you discuss. And then only that when you relax, that is the time you ask for the matches. And when you ask diligently, you ask with respect. And that is only the time when your neighbor decided to give you, agree to give you. It is exactly the same when it comes to sexual consent. Now, what is sexual consent? Sexual consent is when you say yes, you agree to engage in sexual activity with someone. Now, who cannot give sexual consent? A person who is sleeping cannot give sexual consent. A person who is in the influence of alcohol cannot give consent. A person who is in the influence of drugs. A marriage certificate does not mean a consent. It means a marriage certificate does not mean yes. And then a dressing code doesn't mean a consent. Now, if you want consent, how do you ask? How do you ask for someone so that a person is willingly able to give you consent? Now, you ask in the following. Before you engage in sexual activity, you ask the person, are you okay with what we are all about to engage in? And then you also, if a person say yes, when you continue, you make sure you also ask, are you okay? Are you comfortable during the journey, in the middle of the activity? And then you also ask at the end, are you fine? So you are checking whether the person is fully aware. You are checking whether the two of you are at the same page, whether the person really understands what he or she is about to do. So you ask, and then you are waiting for the answer. So you only continue when a person say yes. Now, yes, what does yes mean? Yes mean she or he gives you the consent. So now, when a person gives you consent, let's say a person say yes, what are the things that you have to watch? You are not just blindly continue, you still engage the person. You are watching the body language. Because sometimes a person will say yes verbally, but the body self, it say no. Because you can see the person is so tense, or the person is fearful, or the person is, is not relaxed. The person is not comfortable. So, and then when you speak, because when you ask for permission, you speak, you do it how? You do it verbally, and you do it clearly. And when the person who's giving consent, he also doing it verbally, clearly, and he do it or she do it with words. That's why you need to check. When a person say yes, how is the sound? How is the sound? So all those things, you need to check it. Because the person has the right to say, to also stop in the middle. A person has the right to stop in the middle. And also, I want you to underline this. When a person is quiet, when you ask, when a person is quiet, it does not mean yes. I repeat, when a person is quiet, it does not mean yes. Number 2, when a person dress, whatever dress he put on, what she or he likes, it does not mean a consent. So meaning a dressing code doesn't mean a consent. So no means no. And you cannot force a person to engage in sexual activity. You cannot influence a person. You cannot, even when you are married, there's no way you can say, yes, because you are now married, you have to force your spouse every time. Because a marriage certificate does not mean a consent. So those are the things that you need really to check. You need to check that this person is comfortable. You need to be at the same page. A person need to say yes verbally. Yes, and it means this person has agreed to engage in sexual activity. But if you see that this person is uncomfortable, maybe the body is telling a different story, it means a person say no. And this person has also the right to stop in the middle. Maybe she has agreed or he has agreed at the beginning, then you have started. And while it is in the middle, he has also the right to withdraw the yes and to move to the no. And what you need to do, you have to respect it. Respect the no, because no meaning no. So in summary, when we talk about sexual consent, what does we mean? We mean when you say verbally and clearly yes. So yes means you are agree. So who cannot give consent? A person who is sleeping, a person is the influence of alcohol, a person is influence of drugs. A person who is just silent does not mean the person say yes. So meaning silence doesn't mean yes. It's not a consent. A marriage certificate is not a consent. And lastly, a dressing code. When you see someone dressing whatever she or he likes, it does not give you consent to have intercourse with this person. So this is our lesson. So if you like this video and you want me to do more, thank you for subscribe on this channel so that it encourages me to do more of this video next time. So you can like the video, and you can also share so that everybody would benefit from this video. I love you all and see you in the next video.